Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Derek Gordon, local author of The Grass is Greener in Scotland. You can go to his Facebook page, Derek Gordon, and do some ordering there. And there was one thing you wanted to change.
Yes, I was wrong with the website. Is thebookpatch.com. I think the reason I forgot it as we were talking off air is that they don't even put their own branding in the book.
They're very humble.
I've had a hard time remembering that. But yeah, thebookpatch.com is where you can go. And I was having a hard time when you introduced me as a local author. I'm not used to hearing that, so that was a nice little change of pace there.
Kind of fun. Well, you can always bump into Derek at the Stark County Library. Now, I usually have to make up my own questions, but you're wearing a big button that says, ask me about Issue 8. Yeah. So, Derek, tell me about Issue 8.
Yeah, Issue 8 is on the ballot on May 7th. It is a ballot issue that accounts for more than half of our operational funding at Stark Library. There's lots of things that we would like to do with this, with the levy. It is a slight increase from our current millage, but it's really going to allow us to do a lot of transformative things in the library. The part that's nearest and dearest to me, which is a main part of my job, is updating our spaces to really reflect the needs of a modern library user. We do a lot of things now remotely and online where you can download books, but our users now in the building, not only do we really still focus on our basic materials and our DVDs, our CDs, our books, periodicals, but we offer a lot more services now than what people have realized in the past, whether that's passports or notarizing things. Those are the types of things that our spaces now have to be kind of realigned to provide those things to the public. So again, Issue 8 on May 7th. That's something that we're all working very hard towards right now to try to get passed and make sure that we're sustained for the next several years here at the library to provide our best services to Stark County.
It's just not your grandparents' library anymore, is it?
No, but we cater to all ages. The cradle to grave is something that we've really focused on now. Our bookmobile visits just about every preschool and senior center in Stark County. So we try to be everywhere, even if you don't have a physical location in your immediate area. We will find a way to get to you, whether that's physically with the bookmobile or our mobile services, or whether that's online and being able to download materials right at your home.
And exactly. And you also drop things off to the home, yes?
Yes, we do have an in-home delivery service. It's sort of part of our mobile services fleet, which also has our bookmobiles. And again, bookmobiles we have the largest fleet in the state.
That's amazing.
We have 5 bookmobiles, and they are used constantly. So it's something that we really pride ourselves on, is trying to service the entire service area, and one that, we love when you come into our buildings because we have a lot to offer there as well. But we know that today's day and age, people are on the go, but that doesn't mean you can't use us. There's still a lot of ways to access the library from home.
It's a whole different way of thinking, because I've really gotten to start saying to myself, wait, before I buy anything, check the library first. The seeds is the one thing that just absolutely blows my mind. We walked into a store the other day, and they had a beautiful display of seeds, and, we're kind of looking at them. I said, wait a minute, don't buy any of these. You can get them at the library.
Yeah, it always amazes me, especially when I started working there. I was a little embarrassed by how many things that we offered that I wasn't even aware of. I've used a car diagnostic tool to check what was the light that popped on in my car to tell me whether I needed to go to the mechanic or not.
My goodness.
We've used, we're giving out telescopes now. We have radon detectors. We have air quality monitors. Wi-Fi hotspots are a huge one. We cover the cost of the data on those when you borrow one.
Wow.
So there's just so many things now, to the same point that you mentioned. My wife and I, every time now before we're about ready to head out and say, hey, we need to go get one of these, she goes, well, wait a minute. Can you pick one up at the library? So
right.
We always check that database first to see what things we offer. And about the time I think I know everything, we add a couple of new things to the resume. So always we encourage folks to check out our website. There's always something new that's being offered, or to go back in our archives and see some of the things that are kind of the trusted items that people like to check out.
Yeah, you think of, we all think of the library as being that little place that, with the card catalogs. They don't even use those anymore, do they? Is there a library that still has card catalogs?
I can't speak to everyone, but I know that's something that we've kind of moved away from. Again, so many people now are online and want to search databases that way. That seems to be kind of the way things are moving. But our librarians and our staff are really, really good. And if there's folks who are uncomfortable with that technology, we'll do tech try-it-outs and other opportunities where we'll walk you through how to help use your device. Or if you're just not comfortable with that, we will help you find those materials that we have on the shelf, or make sure we have it reserved to come in on loan at a later date.
Also, training on how to use the new technology?
Yeah, that's a big one. And a lot of those classes get reserved very quickly, whether that's a basic Excel class or anything really on Microsoft Office. Those classes fill up very quickly, which I think is a sign that people do want to know that. And some people take for granted that you know how to use Word or one of these other programs that are out there. But it's a very easy way to get acclimated with it with other folks who are kind of in that same boat.
So you say there's going to be new services coming once you pass issue 8 because it's going to pass,
That's
Derek.
right.
Once that passes, what are some of these new services that you're looking forward to?
One of the things that's really popular that's out there in some of the other larger library districts across the state and across the country, there's things that are called maker spaces. And there's also places that have sensory spaces. So those sensory spaces sometimes are those with developmental disabilities. Other times it's just for fun for children to kind of learn different ways to use their senses. But the maker spaces are also really unique in that places like Cuyahoga County, you can go in there and they have 3D printers, they have vinyl cutters, button makers. I've even seen one that is sort of like almost a machine shop where they've got a lathe and a mechanical way to cut wood and shapes out of there for crafts. And people, and I'm not sure that we're going to get to this point, but almost running their own business out of the library with the tools and machinery that they just wouldn't be able to afford as a startup business. So not sure, again, that we get to the point where you're running your business out of the library, but just getting people more and more familiar with those. And, it's an element of workforce development, too, where they're learning new trades and new skills that, again, you might not have access to otherwise if you weren't able to come to the library.
Mm-hmm. Knowing your interest in the parks and so forth and with the library, I always think of the one location that Perry Sippo
Yes.
has got to be the most beautiful location for any library ever. First of all, how did we get to do that? How did that happen? And what kinds of extra fun things are there?
Yeah, that's a wonderful partnership we have with Stark Parks. We have some great partnerships as well with Lake Local Schools and Plain Local Schools. So we've kind of shaped that in the same image where we're sharing space in there, which is a big savings of taxpayer dollars, as well as locating vital community services in sort of a community hub. So having the parks there, having a library right there, having a school there. And I know at Plain they also have child and adolescent health right there. So just trying to centralize a lot of key community needs in the same place. But the setting at Perry Sippo really is beautiful. And we're really excited, too, about the New Jackson location. While we don't necessarily have a partner there with someone else in the building, we are right there and partnering with Jackson Township and their parks to have a beautiful setting right there in North Park. So
tell us what that's going to look like.
Yeah, it's a really great building that is going to have a glass back of the building that's looking into the park and specifically geared towards the amphitheater project that's just getting underway with the township. So really trying to make sure that our building not only fits in but plays well with the other amenities in the park. And I think we're going to have another gem there just like we have at Perry Sippo.
It's kind of remarkable, really. Tell people some of the things that you can see because you'll see, what's it called, the entryway?
Oh, yeah, the vestibule
Gateway
there.
there.
That's going to be a 24/7 feature. We have that currently at the storefront in Nobles Pond where at any time of day, if you have materials that are on loan or you want to use our media vending box, you can go in there and get your materials.
So it doesn't have to be open. You
No.
can just go on in and it's sort of like in a foyer and you just...
Yep, if you've got your materials on reserve, we'll have them on hold in a locker there. Or if you just want to go in and check our media vending box out, you can see what titles are available there, either in DVDs or books. And it's been extremely popular at our current locations, so much so that we're doubling the amount of lockers that are available because they're just constantly used up. So
it's like Redbox.
It's very close to that, only it's free.
Yeah, right.
we like to push that feature, and it's something in the new location that I think will be used even more heavily just because we have more space.
Absolutely. Where my mind was going was I'm still at Perry Sippo and Gateway and the animals that are there. Is the library involved with some of that, or is that under the other umbrella?
It's mostly under Stark Parks, but I know
Got
that
it.
we try to do cross-programming wherever
Yes.
it's possible. We're sharing the same space, and again, that setting is so conducive to a lot of things, whether it's the nature walks that they do or the lake that's right there. So it definitely has a lot of opportunities there. And again, when we pass the levee, that space as well, we want to make it a little more conducive to showcasing the lake. Right now you go in there and it's kind of hard to see all the way through to the beautiful glass windows we have out there. So just kind of repositioning it to maximize the features that we have there. And again, really, really improve how our services can be delivered.
It's just absolutely beautiful. I know we've stressed that everything with the library is free, but they've got one great gift shop at that Perry Sippo location as well, just to really pick up some very cool parks-oriented type gifts that you wouldn't find anyplace else. How's the bicycle project going? Because you're a little bit involved with that as well.
I'm glad you asked. We actually, this week, the bikes will be coming back out. So people should start to see those at each of our 7 hubs across the county. And I'm hoping the weather will hold out so people can start to enjoy the trails in the areas that we have those located. But yeah, our partners with SARTA, Stark Parks, and Canton Parks and Recreation, looking forward to bringing that back for another season. Weather permitting, hopefully we can get through, I think we actually got through October last year. So a nice riding season and something that we've really been pleased with the numbers and the usage and, the health benefits that come with it, but also kind of seeing Stark County in a very different way by utilizing the trails. So it's been a great partnership for us.
It's an interesting partnership to think the library and the parks, but it's really worked. And then you are like the ideal person working for both with your experience in both.
Yeah, I was very happy. That was one of the projects I was kind of able to carry over and help continue to lead for the library. Again, it's been very popular. It's something we're continuing to try to improve upon and possibly look for new partners in the future, because as the trails continue to grow throughout the parks, there's a greater demand for different ways to access it, different partners and gaps in the trails where we want more bikes. So I think there's more possibilities there in the future.
So we need to pass issue 8. Now let's go full circle and talk about your book one more time here. We've got The Grass is Greener in Scotland. And just real quickly, what was it that just inspired you to write this?
I just really like writing. That was kind of the first thing, but I've done so much of that in my day job that was kind of prescribed that I said, you know what, I've had a lot of ideas percolate in my head. I think it's a lot easier to write about something that you're passionate about. Environmental causes, and Scotland and golf were all kind of 3 of those. And I know that might seem hard to believe that those all fit together, but really wanted to just write something that was fun and also maybe make people think a little bit more about our environmental impact. You
going to do it again?
I hope so. Again, I kind of want to see how this one goes. I may write one just for my own personal benefit or our friends and family, but if people really like it, there may be a sequel in the works or maybe go in a completely different direction.
Did you leave it kind of open-ended that there could be a sequel?
This book kind of wrapped up that storyline, but it left things open-ended with that group I was talking about, that those environmental experts that still maybe have some unfinished business.
You need a little cliffhanger there.
That's right.
Perfect. All right. And remind us, where can we get it, Derek?
thebookpatch.com. And if you look up The Grass is Greener in Scotland or my name, it should come up and you can order one right there.
Perfect. Derek Gordon, thanks for all you do in our community.
Thank you for having me.